Hello, everyone, and welcome to the game number two. Game number two at the Tollgate Farm of this doubleheader Saturday. And Seattle Thunderbolts, a local team, take on the Silicon Valley Strikers. We've already been through the first over. It's 6 without loss. Seattle Thunderbolts have won the toss and have elected to bat. And almost immediately, Silicon Valley Strikers starting with spin option. Shehan Jayasuriya after the first over, brisk pace from Raymond Reifer. Both the batters off the mark. There's one change that Thunderbolts have made from the team that played in the first game earlier today. The spin option Rahul Nama has been replaced with the batting option of Shreyas Chitneni. And Silicon Valley Strikers will get the team to you in a short while when we take the first break after this over. Jayasuriya is a wily customer as far as bowling is concerned. He can get through his overs quickly and, more importantly, can get some very quality and economical overs. As he's showing out, he just 1 run so far in this over. It's 7 without loss for Seattle Thunderbolts. It's been a very hot and sunny day so far. We've seen an absolutely energy-sapping game, the first one. And that's wonderfully sort of walloped towards the long-on fence by Ian Dave. Just a single to end the overs. After 2 overs, it's 8 without loss.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Raymond Reifer to start his second. And his first over was an event, not, it was an eventless game. 6 runs coming of that first over. Just a single down the leg side. That's the Silicon Valley Strikers team, if you see that. A very strong outfit, and they have been doing well. So far, they've just played 6 games coming into this. and they have lost only 2 games, which kind of sets them very well from a point tables perspective, because they have 4 games to play for their allotted set of 10 games. So it's going to be crucial for the other teams to get some points against Silicon Valley Strikers. Left to them, the formidable outfit that they are, they would certainly want to win as many as possible and stay at the top of the points table. That's a fantastic shot by Lahiru Milanta. Square on the offside, played in the air intentionally. No chance for the deep cover point boundary rider to get there. One bounce out of the boundary for 4. That was wide, that was short, and an absolute stylish left-hander shot there by Lahiru. We've said that in the morning. He had a wonderful match yesterday. He is rising exponentially on the at a breakneck speed on that batting leaderboard, and he was playing well in the morning before he all of a sudden sort of lost his wicket to a good ball. He's looked extremely sorted and comfortable. Looking at the points table quickly, how things stand. The 2 top teams, East Bay Blazers, who just finished their 8th game today, 10 points. They didn't pick up any point on this trip to Seattle. Thunderbolts, who picked up 2 against 2 games, so they are on 10 now. Silicon Valley Strikers, they played just 6, so there are 4 games to go after this, including this. Watchfully played there by Ian Dave, just for a single. Ian Chauhan just had one emphatic shot in that first innings, first game. Struggled with his overall form, overall stroke making, and he's a very high stroke making player, and when he is finding his form, he obviously struggles for a long period of time. On the other hand, Lahiru has been looking sublime in whatever he's doing with the bat. That's the end of the 3rd over, and it's 17 without loss. Thunderbolts have done good across multiple games, preserving their wickets through the power play. What they have to probably do as they think about qualifying for the Super 8 stage is taking that power play momentum a little more higher. They can't let the power play opportunity go begging without much of a momentum created there. That puts a lot of pressure in the middle overs. Oh, that was a risky shot there by Lahiru, but he took a gamble against Shehan Jayasuriya, and that was just about an inch above the close fielder in the cover area. Nobody behind him, and once it was past that fielding in inner circle, it was all the way. It was boundary written all the way, and that's what happened. He's off and running, Lahiru Milanta. It's 21 without loss. We are in the 4th over. Lahiro Milanta would have played Shehan Jayasuriya many a times in his career. They come from Sri Lanka. They played cricket together. They've also played cricket together at Silicon Valley Strikers in the past. There's a bit of a muffled appeal by a few fielders. So talking about Silicon Valley Strikers and the combination of Shehan Jayasuriya and Lahiro Milanta, it was this very ground in 2022 that they both put together a good partnership to defeat Thunderbolts. So that's a happy hunting ground, not just for Milanta, but also for Jayasuriya. Silicon Valley Strikers haven't visited Seattle for a couple of seasons, so there's some happy memories in this ground whenever they played in the past. A notable name missing from the Strikers lineup today is their international talismanic player Saurabh Netravalkar. There was a sweep tried by Ian Dave, could not beat that short fine leg position fielder. And that's the end of the over. After 4, it's 22 without loss. If you look at the team there from the Strikers, there's a very important name missing there, which is Saurabh Netravalkar, the US international, an absolute talismanic player for Silicon Valley Strikers, missing out today. Change in bowling. Yusuf Zazai is the next change, and he replaces Raymond Reifer. And that's been pulled away. There was a difficult chance there at the square leg fence, but that eludes the fielder and crosses the boundary line. Lahiro is taking calculated risks. That ball got tall on him. It was a short pitch ball, came at his head, but it bounced more than expected, so probably took a little bit of a top edge, ballooned up, but it was far away from the deep square leg position fielder. It almost seemed like it was probably within the reach, missed the fielder by an inch. Close chance, but 4 nevertheless. 4 valuable runs, 26 without loss. Thunderbolts. Beating for pace there. Yusuf Zazai has picked up 8 wickets in his minor league career. Has just played 7 games. A very fresh and a new entity for the team. Probably in the team today in the place of Saurabh Netravalkar. How big a void it is when a player like Netravalkar misses out, because his 4 overs have always been such consequential in the results of the game. And he's back in 2022 when he had come here and strikers had won their 2 games, and sort of was on point every ball. He pulled supreme smells at that point of time, and that worked out brilliantly for them. So today, not having him on the side would certainly be giving a lot of confidence. Again, a quick single there. It's a hot Saturday afternoon. The temperature now rising steadily, and there's a bit of breeze as well, which obviously is going to either help the fast bowlers, or sometimes it can cause a little bit of a disturbance by giving too much of a movement to the ball. That's a huge appeal there by the fielding team. The umpires unmoved. The appeal is still prolonged. It continues. Milantha was immediately up announced. He clearly said that there was absolutely no contact whatsoever. Meantime, that's the end of the over. 5 overs done, 28 without loss. That was a vociferous appeal. The last ball of the last over, a moment of drama. Shehan Jayasuriya continues. He's been on point with his overs so far. 2 overs, 7 runs. That's what Shehan Jayasuriya brings in. He might be a batting all-rounder, but his bowling is very consequential. Raymond Reifer, skipper for Silicon Valley Strikers today, marshalling his troops. Oh, that was a good shot from Ian Dave. There was nobody behind the cover fielder, and he intentionally played it in air, lobbing it above that inner field circle boundary. A very welcome shot for Ian Dave, because he's trying to stitch back his form, and that shot would have a lot of positive impact in his mindset. One of those ranked loose balls from Jayasuriya. Once again, it's his pace after pitching. He's not a great turner of the ball, but he skids his balls. For someone who's bowling with such a short run up, he bowls a pretty pacey ball, heavy balls, and that foxes the batters more often than not. Oh, this time again, opened his arms. It was a little wide of the batsman. Opened his arms and played it square of the offside for another boundary to the third man fence. That's and a welcome over for Seattle Thunderbolts. Last of the power play, so they want to make most of the next 2 balls They've already got 2 4s from this over. It was a very wide ball, and Dave Chauhan capitalized on that one. This time on the leg side, once again, craftily turned. That could be easy 2 there. The short leg fielder ran behind, fielded it, and couple of runs there. This is a good over, 10 runs so far, still a ball to go, the last one of the power play. That's a short pitch ball, and swiveled on that one, could not get anything more than a single. So that ends 6 overs. After the power play, it's 39 without loss. Yusuf Zazai to continue the 7th over. 6 overs, 39. That's the power play for Seattle. They were 35 without loss in their previous game that happened in the morning against East Bay Blazers. So a minor adjustment onto that one, just 4 runs more than that. But important thing is this, they haven't lost a wicket, and it would be interesting to see if they can capitalize on this start. Zazai. He is rapid in his pace. There was an interesting moment in the last ball of his previous over, and there was a very prolonged appeal, and especially from one of the Silicon Valley strikers player, Gary Graham. He had to be literally yanked away from that conversation with the umpire by his skipper. There's a lot of passion involved in these games, especially when the points table has such a clutter at the top. Still very much open. The top 2 teams make it to the Super 8 stage, and based on just points, East Bay Blazers and Thunderbolts are sitting on 10 points, but the Silicon Valley Strikers still have 4 games, including this one. So all the other teams are probably having just 2 games. Thunderbolts have just 2 games, this one and for tomorrow. So it's a very interesting battle here. Oh, that's an outside edge. The outstretched wicket keeper made a valiant effort to grab onto it, but it eluded him and trickled down to the 3rd man area. It's a very fine 3rd man, and was cut off, just a single there with no harm done. Lahiru Milanta. Yeah, it was a rank outside edge. The wicket keeper made an effort, but it was wide of him. Oh, that's a short pitch ball. Could have been a wide, but just got a feather touch at the end. It almost seemed like Ian stopped himself in the last moment while going through the shot, but it just ended up committing into it half-heartedly and got a little bit of a feather edge. No harm done, probably lost a wide call. Still a single. Down to the long leg area, I guess. He's generating some good pace and bounce. Yusuf Zazai not letting the batters to get under the ball and get something big. Raymond as still maintained as his offside close in field. He's got 3 fielders closing. After the power play, they have the freedom to get more fielders on the boundary. Oh, that's another interesting appeal there. Zaza felt that it had an outside edge, but no harm done. After 7, it's 42 without loss. .42 without loss after 7, and appears there's another bowling change here. We're going to see a bunch of spinners bowling on this track. As much as we've seen some good fast bowling spell earlier in the day today by Ugarkar, Hennig, Shadley. We've also seen Raymond Rifer, Zazai also bending their back, getting some pace, but this wicket is predominantly a spin-friendly wicket, and we will see some spinners, all the spinners trying their best here. Kamran Hotak is the next change bowler, left-handed bowler. Orthodox left-arm spinner. He's had 14 wickets so far in his minor league career. A couple of seasons he's been playing for Silicon Valley Strikers. There's a bunch of players from Afghanistan who've made their transition to the United States cricket and then have added multiple dimensions and abilities. See, that's an extremely exuberant and cricket-wise astute nation. Have been producing some incredible lineup of talent at the international level, and some great role modeling there by young players who come up through the ranks. And no wonder that cricket and cricketing prowess has percolated down the ranks, and we see some of these players here. Eighth over, 44 without loss. More importantly, they haven't lost a wicket. They haven't really run away with the scoring rate here, but they should be aiming at some point to start accelerating. That's a short pitch ball, again hit in the air, and this time going down. Lahiru Milanta hitting it down the throat of the long off fielder, and that's the first wicket that Silicon Valley Strikers was looking for. Raymond Rifer, the skipper, taking the catch. Kamran Hotak. It was not a wicket-taking ball by any stretch of imagination. It was short, it was outside the off stump. It was just poorly timed by Lahiru. It was just a choice of shot. He was probably going for the big shot there. His eyes would have lit up as he saw this short pitched ball outside the off stump, the width being there. He had a lot of gap to play with. Unfortunately, found that one fielder who was in that long off fence, who just had to move a few steps forward to take that. Once again, the similar story for Thunderbolts. They have not lost the wicket. They have seen through the new ball. They've seen through the power play. They've seen through the first 7 overs. But they lose their wicket without much of momentum on the board, which is a bit of a mixed situation for the next set of batters to come in and adjust to, simply because if there is a momentum on there, they know they can come in, take some time. But now, with just the run rate hovering around 6, and this is a second half game, conditions being so warm, the wicket is kind of easing out. The bowling has been tight. Shehan Jayasuriya, especially his 3 overs, has been very tight. He only gave away 18 runs. Yusuf Zazai bowled 2 very miserly overs, 9. And Raymond Reifer is given 15. So bowlers have been disciplined. Batters have taken some initiative, but they've been rather circumspect in their action. They've not taken too many calculated risks, so to speak. I think the first one that was tried there, Milanta, falling straight into the hands of the fielder. Shashwat Kohli. Is this a day for Shashwat Kohli? He's played a few 20s this season. Is this a day where he can take those 20s to something big? Short pitch ball, there he goes. Pulls it to the deep square leg for just a single. Eight overs done, 46 for 1.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
So another bowling change. Pranay Suri comes to the attack. Right arm off spin. Experienced player, Pranay Suri this time. Ian Dev hitting the ball towards the mid-wicket fence. It was in the air. The fielder in deep mid-wicket converged on that one, but obviously lost the ball. Skipper not happy with that effort, fielding effort really. Pranay Suri is a very experienced cricketer. He's an all-rounder. A perfect all-rounder. He's got 828 minor league runs. He's got 63 wickets. And that's a nice little dab shot by Ian. Couple of runs there towards the third man area. That's the 50 for Seattle Thunderbolts. It comes in the 9th over. Once again down the leg side. It'd be interesting to see what the call is there from the umpire. That's the end of the over. The first, after the 9th over, it's 52 for 1. That was the last ball of the previous over, was very close to being called a wide. I think the pitch of the ball was outside the off stump and it had a massive turn on it. Probably that worked, favored the bowler. Kamran Hotak starts his second over. Successful bowler so far. The only successful, his first over went for 4, picked up a wicket. Ian Chauhan, he's a successful Seattle Thunderbolts player for the last few seasons, 600 plus runs in this league. And this time, it's a fantastic shot by Shashwat Kohli. Picked up the ball pretty early, swept it to the vacant fine leg region for 4. So he's getting a move on. The ball was pitched on the leg stump. It was there to be swept. Last week we saw this Seattle Thunderbolts players not using the sweep shot as much in their first game, and some of that amends have been made. I think Shashwat saw that the ball was on the leg stump and a sweep shot could be deployed, did it masterfully for a 4. Ian Chauhan has 600 plus runs. He's got 127 runs, 137 runs this season coming into this game. 27 being his highest score. So he's very close to that score and looks in a better touch compared to some of the games coming into this match. He's not going for some of the big shots. He's trying to sort of place in the gaps and then pick up singles and twos to keep the scoreboard moving. And he's going at a decent strike rate, just short of 100. But I think the team expects him to be there as an anchor for them to stitch together the innings around him. But we all know what he can do with the big shots as well. A short-statured player, but he can produce a lot of momentum and force in his shots. Last ball of this over. And that's just pushed to the short cover fielder there, Gary Graham picking it up, and then there is no run. That's the end of the 10th over, and the players will take a drink. It's 58 for 1. So two incredibly inexpensive overs from Kamran Hotak. 10 runs of his 2 overs. After 10, Seattle Thunderbolts at 58 for 1. Pranay Suri is continuing. The spinners have had a solid stranglehold on this game, starting with Shayan Jayasuriya, then Pranay Suri, then Kamran Hotak. Their spinners have done remarkably well. It's a very healthy track for the spinners here. There's a lot of help, and batters have to do a lot of hard work to manufacture shots. If the spinners can keep the ball full, there's a lot of purchase and there's a lot of doubt they can create in the minds of the batters. And there's absolutely no loose ones coming from the strikers at this point. Batters are doing it in singles and twos. Would be interesting to know what was the chat in the Thunderbolts camp in the break. Once again, exuberant appeal there from the skipper. Wide declared. Gamesmanship. There was an example of gamesmanship there. Sometimes the ball is down the leg side, appeals come in just to fox the umpire, and the umpire was quite clear in their mind to call it wide. Another just single trickling down the square leg boundary, square leg area. Shashwat Kohli on 9, Ian Chauhan on 27. They are in the second half of their batting innings. I'm sure the conversation would be to go with some calculated risk here. That was a slight short pitch ball, but it's the bounce that did not give the bounce, and the ball coming in robbed the batsman of the room that Shashwat Kohli positioned himself for, and at the end it was just a gentle push to the gully area for a single. This time Ian Chauhan trying a slightly adventurous shot, clearly trying to take some initiative there. And that was the last ball of that 11th over. After 11 it's 67 for 1. Kamran Hotak. Kamran Silicon Valley strikers have always been a very competitive side. They've come in always well prepared for their opposition. They've selected specific to conditions in the opposition, and looks like they have studied this condition appropriately and resourced themselves with 3 very good spinners. And even though they're missing the services of Netravalkar today, they seem to have done a very decent, in fact more than a decent job with their 2 pace bowlers, and Zazai and Raifa. And now the spinners are doing an exceptional job here. was bowled with a lot of invitation in that. The clear art of deception, which is an absolute ornament in the armory of the spinners this time. It was it was a deception of spin. Player playing it for the rank, the ball that goes away from the batter. And it was an arm ball that came in, foxing the batter. Just the bounce, probably taking it above the stumps, otherwise he would have been castled. High consistency, that's the end of the over. Just 3 runs of this. So we start with the 13th over, another bowling change this time. The third pacer from Silicon Valley Strikers, Nawaz Khan Khatawazai. Oh, that shot outside the off stump. And Shashwat Kohli playing it in the air. Couple of runs taken there. There was a huge vacant area in that space. The ball had a whole lot of bounce outside the off stump. The width was there and Shashwat utilized it. Khatawazai, he has 7 wickets so far in his career. He's played 10 minor league games. Another cricketing talent from the Afghanistan cricketing circuit. You're seeing quite a few of them here. Yusuf Zazai, Kamran Hotak, Nawaz Khan Khatawazai. It's just incredible to see the ascendance of Afghan cricketing system. It was not so long ago, and I'm talking about less than 20 years before the sudden emergence of Afghanistan as a cricketing country. Cricket was obviously popular considering their neighbors were all involved in such passionate games. It was played in interiors and cities of Afghanistan, and suddenly a bunch of men with extremely big heart started competing in the associate system and started beating some of the more established rivals. And round about that 2009 stage, made it to the T20 World Cup, and they haven't looked back since then. Every single cricketing talent that's come from there has a story of resilience, story of doing unthinkable stuff with remarkable amount of limitations around them. Cricketers who have learned the art of bowling, bowling some crafty skills by just looking at YouTube videos, and have gone on to play at the top stage, international stage. They're plying their trade across all the professional leagues around the world. Of course, becoming well off in terms of personal wealth, creating a whole lot of riches in terms of creating inspiration for the generation after them. And what we see here, many miles away in the United States, a minor league franchise has 3 out of the 11 players from Afghanistan. What a fantastic cricketing story. If that doesn't inspire youngsters, then I think one has to take a close look at their own heart, because this is an absolute story of inspiration, Afghanistan. That's the end of 13 overs. It's 77 for 1. So Kamran Hotak, he's going to finish off his spell. 3 overs, 13 runs for a wicket. He's absolutely applied the air brakes on this Thunderbolts innings. They haven't been able to take any chance against him. And at this point, they just want to see him through. The Thunderbolts have to be cautious here, because too much of caution can lead to a bit of a shell, and they might run out of time. And we've seen in a few games now they've kept some runs on the table, and that was a good shot. Some initiative there from Ian Dave, coming down the track, making room for that gap between the long off fielder and the close covers. Couple of runs there. 80 for 1. Wonderfully bowled again. There's a lot of turn and bounce. He's bowling with a splendid balance and a good head. Oh, that's... He comes down the wicket and the umpire has given him out. It has to be very adjacent to the stumps for the umpire to give such a quick decision, especially when the batsman is dancing down the track, because the distance between the batter and the stumps is a very key factor. So unless it is plumb in front of the stumps, and it looks like that it stayed low and clearly foxing the batter in terms of the bounce. It was caught in a bit of a no man's land, and it was a simple call from the umpire. That height, even the distance doesn't matter, it would have gone on to hit the stumps. So Ian Dave, he did play a very crucial knock here, scoring his highest score of the season so far. But it wasn't something that would give the Thunderbolts the kind of momentum that they needed. So good part is they haven't lost too many wickets. They have their task cut out. 6 overs after this. They have some people who can hit the ball long, hit the ball hard, play some big shots. And they should go out there looking at about a 7 or 8 per over at least for the next few overs. And that should get them another 40, 45 runs. Still, this That would only take them to 125, which I think, going by the previous game, would be too close for comfort. They would still need something like 135 plus for that to happen. There has to be a very special effort from here. The good part is that subsequent chunk of the spin overs are done. Pranay Suri is still left with a couple of overs, but Kamran Hotak is done. This is his fourth over, and he's already picked up 2 wickets, both the wickets that have fallen for Thunderbolts. He's been an absolute standout bowler. What a talent. Young talent from Afghanistan. Doesn't matter where you're playing, as long as you get to play, you just go out there and make it your own. Another one. Such a guileful bowler. He's deceived the batters. He's used all the weaponry, and he's finished his 4 overs with just 18 runs, picking up 2 wickets. That's sparkling gold when it comes to Silicon Valley strikers. They would frame that bowling figures. After 14, it's 82 for 2. Kamran Hotak, 4 overs, 18 runs, 2 wickets. Remarkable statistics. Those could be match-winning performance for Silicon Valley strikers. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Sujit Naik is the new batter who's come in after the dismissal of Yandev Chauhan. And that's another wicket. This time it is the other set batsman, Shashwat Kohli, who's doing it steadily. 18 of 19 balls. And that has dislodged the stumps. Pranay Suri coming back for his 3rd over. And the spin torment continue. This is the risk I was speaking about, that an overcautious approach potentially gets people to a shell, and then it's not even a calculated risk. It becomes a slightly uncalculated, mindless risk that gets taken. Spinners are bowling it right on the stumps. Spin shot, a sweep shot here, especially with the batters covering all their stumps, is always fraught with risk. In that scenario, in the effort to go and connect with the ball that was outside the off stump, the stumps got exposed behind the batter, and the ball just trickled down to the leg stump and dislodged the bails. We have seen this pattern play out a couple of times now in the last couple of weeks with Seattle Thunderbolts. An overcautious approach, and then suddenly you have to accelerate, and then it gets into a position where you take a few unwanted risks, or you take risks on balls that you don't have to. 2 very new batsmen on the crease. Now it could be a potentially tricky situation, but it could be a blessing in disguise, because Shivam Sharma is a powerhouse when it comes to striking the big blows. We just saw in the previous game, he played a handy hand while the regular innings, and in super over he made sure that he saw through his team in just 3 balls. But he's up against some very crafty spin bowling out here. It's not easy. It's just not easy. We're talking about spin bowlers who know their craft, who have understood the condition, and who know that they can get a lot out of this wicket, and they're doing it so well. If they can get through this and they can score some runs, that would be the brilliance of the batter. Off the mark there, Shivam Sharma. Gentle tickle on the leg side. It's turning out to be a very professional performance by Silicon Valley strikers. They're keeping a hard grip on the proceedings so far, not letting Thunderbolts run away with the game. Some stage, the shackles have to be unshackled. The batters have to throw caution to the wind in a calculated manner. Sajid Naik starts against Pranay Suri quite comfortably there. .518 runs for Sajid Naik across minor league cricket. Great opportunity for him to play a influential innings out here. After 15, it's 84 for 3. That's a wonderful shot there by Sajid Naik. A tiny step forward and emphatically dispatched it. Change in bowling, it's Dilpreet Singh Bajwa. Its first ball has been dispatched for a boundary. That's a welcome boundary. It's come after a long time. Thunderbolts realize this is a bowler. Probably they have to go after the new bowler. And once again, another big shot played by Sajid Naik. A very forceful shot. Wonderfully done there by the long off fielder. The ball was rapidly covering ground, but the fielder was swift enough to go and get in there in time and clean it out. Just a single. Fielding has been spot on, aiding the tight bowling that's been on display so far. Raymond Reifer has been on the pin with his personnel, kept the intensity up. That was a bit of a crowd catch, ballooned up after tickling the pads. Oh, that's a big shot there. Attempted by Shivam Sharma, and that's cleared. That's the first 6 of the Thunderbolt innings. That would bring a sigh of relief to their dressing room over there, because it was getting a bit tight for them in terms of momentum. There's a boundary that kind of opened up, broke the shackles for the team earlier in the over. And that was right in the slot. So clearly they have targeted Dilpreet Singh Bajwa. He's not asking the tough questions that his other compatriots were asking as a spin bowler. And it's given some momentum to the Thunderbolts players. Ooh, that was a big turn coming into the stumps. Loud appeal by Bajwa. Nobody else did but appeals. There was a long term, of course. probably missing the stumps there. That ball will underscore how much turn is there on this wicket. Once again, prolific turn on that one. Interesting to see that the umpire has not given that wide. And that's the end of the over. After 16, it's 95 for 3.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
So good last over for the Thunderbolts. A 6 and a 4 and a few other runs, and that has given them some oxygen here. And they're up against Pranay Suri now. Pranay Suri is to bowl his last over now. 3 overs for 17 with a wicket. Slide outside edge. Well done by the short third man fielder there. Not letting it pass through. That could have costed them. Just a single. As I said, the fielding has been right on the money. Shivam Sharma again, a hoik towards the mid-wicket, friends. Sweep shot, a slog sweep on the ground. Single taken. Remarkable intensity shown. It's a very hot afternoon here in the Tollgate Farm. That's a shot attempted by Sujit Nayak, taking outside edge. Carry Graham cleaning it up at the short third man area. No runs taken. Just 2 runs so far on this over. Once again, a quickly bowl outside the off stump. What an outstanding job Pranay Suri and Kamran Hotak have done. And so did Shehan Jayasuriya. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Emphatic one. No chance for the long off fielder to come and cut it off. And that's a much needed boundary for Seattle Thunderbolts. Sujit Nayak comes over with that. That's a 4. More importantly, it's come against one of the spearhead spinners. So they've started to open their arms. They've got themselves a bit of a look in, and they've taken this momentum up. So that's the end of the 17th over. It's 101 for 3. After 17 overs, 101 for 3. Out of the 17, 11 overs have been bowled by the 3 prominent spinners. Shehan Jayasuriya, Kamran Hotak and Pranay Suri. 11 overs for 59 runs and 3 wickets. We saw what the Thunderbolts did in the last game when they were defending, and just a paltry score of 128. 10 of their overs between three bowlers just costed them 45 runs, and they picked up 6 wickets. That broke the back of East Bay Blazers, who would have gone home thinking, so near yet so far. They had 2 points for the taking. They committed a solid harakiri out there, but those three bowlers really brought them back and won the game for them. Yusuf Zaza is back, and he's quick. He is quick. Shivam Sharma just coming too inside onto the stumps and practically suffocating himself with the length and even the width of the ball. So it's Sujit Naik walking down, giving him a slight bit of time to recover from that blow, and also probably telling him you're coming too far into the stumps. This time it was a little better. It was still a shimmy inside the stumps, but not to the extent it was in the previous ball. But well bowled by Yusuf Zazai. Once again, suffocating him off the width. Dabbed to the leg side area. The ball trickled down. The bowler making the ground, picking it up. Just a single. Singles and dot balls are a thing of dream at this point for Silicon Valley strikers. They would be safeguarding themselves from the big shots, and those are not coming in a hurry. A lot of pressure on Sujit Naik. He's 13 from 10. Shivam Sharma hasn't got going true to his reputation. There's a lot of homework that has been done by this team, Silicon Valley strikers. They are not giving any width to Shivam Sharma. They know what he can do with width. Both the balls were bowled into his body. And this time around the wicket. No, it was bowled over the wicket. Spongy bounce. Slower bounce ball. Sujit asking the question, should that be a wide or a no ball because of the height? Clearly the umpire was not having any of that. That's a fast ball and played up in the air. Sujit Naik perishes. Gary Graham picks up the catch in the cover region. The pressure got onto Sujit. He knew it was him who had to take the risk here. He tried. Couple of slow balls. Zazai creating the wicket. This time a fast-paced swinging Yorker coming inside. He had to dig it out. Dig he did, but it was not timed well. Just ballooned up to the cover region, and Gary took the catch. So, bit of a worry at this point. Shadley Van Schalkwyk walks in. He is an experienced hat. Did try some adventurous switch shots in the previous game. It's very close, very similar script as the previous game. We will have to see how far they can take this score to. At this stage, it's looking very bleak from where Thunderbolts would land. On the other hand, the strikers would be cock-a-hoop with what they have managed so far. A thoroughly professional performance that would delight their skipper, that would delight their think tank. The highest a bowler has conceded is Nawaz Khan Katawazai, single over going for 7. Apart from that, Shehan Jayasuriya giving 6 runs per over, 18 from his 3. Kamran Hotak 18 from his 4. Pranay Suri 23 from his 4. Raymond Reifer 15 from his 2. That was straight hike by Shadley. He clearly doesn't want to miss any time out here. Taking a look in. Intentions are pretty clear. Again, Yusuf Zazai slowing up the pace. Cutters and spinners on this wicket, they will have a lot of rewards that they can get. Slow balls from the pace bowlers, and of course all the spinners will have a great impact. The more pace given, and that's the middle stump uprooted out. That was a fast ball, Yorker length, right on the middle peg, uprooted out of the ground. Shadley has lost his stumps. He didn't last for too long, just 2 balls. This is serious pressure territory for Thunderbolts now. They lost their serious big players who could use the long handle. They do have some batting talent in the tent. I'd be curious to see who can stand up in the next couple of overs. That's the end of the 18. It's 102 for 5. So after 18, it's 102 for 5. The projected score at this rate is about 114. And that, I'm afraid, would not be sufficient for a prolific team like Strikers. So Raymond Rifer, the skipper, is back. He's bowled 2 overs for 15. And Shivam Sharma is on strike. Matt Hennig has joined him. Yeah, that's again a slow ball, a cutter. Rifer taking a leaf out of Zazai's playbook, rolling his fingers over the seam. It was a fast spinner or a slow cutter, whatever you may call it. Clearly, Shivam had no momentum to go for a big shot there. Matt Hennig, the big Australian here. What does he do? Going by stance, he's quite ready for that. That's a York length ball. Raymond Rifer is a seasoned hand. We've seen him multiple seasons along with Saurabh Netravalkar doing the magic for in the minor league. Today he has to do it alone, and he's doing it so well. More importantly, he's led the team with so much of energy and direction and planning. Field placements were quite decisive. Bowlers had a specific role and plan. Oh, that's been well played. Shivam Sharma finally connects one. He got a bit of license on that one as it pitched on the leg side, and he was flawless in connecting it and sending it out of the boundary. Welcome boundary there. 107 for 5. At this stage, they have to go for everything that is there. He could have gotten a wide there, but he's nevertheless went for the shot. At this stage, he's going for the bigger rewards rather than an extra ball. Oh, that's connected well again, up in the air. Kamran Hota coming in to catch the ball. That was very close on the boundary line. Kamran just about cutting the ball on the fence. Two valuable runs for Shivam, 109 for 5. And that's down the leg side. Immediately signaled wide by the umpire. So Raymond Rifer going for some pacey balls last couple of deliveries. And that's been handled with some degree of expertise. Matt Hennig for the first time taking strike. He can strike the big handle. Yeah, that was a slow cutter, and Hennig was completely Shivam was completely foxed by that. Or was it Matt Hennig? Sorry about that. Matt was completely foxed and he played it much late. A slow cutter again for Raymond. Caught in the gully. That looks pretty agricultural at the end, but it was very well bowled by Raifa. The action was fast, the ball came out rather slow, and the batsman got committed to that. 110 for 6. The last ball of the penultimate over. They had a very good start considering they didn't lose any wicket till about the 7th over. But as was the case in the first game earlier today, that start did not translate into something more substantial. Shreyas Chitneni, the new batsman in. He was brought in for this game as a replacement. Wonderfully bowled across the right-hander. Another dot ball there. Absolute gold dust dot balls here. 110 for 6 at the end of 19. So the last over coming up. Yusuf Zazai. 10 runs of his 3 overs. What an impactful little spell that he's had here. 2 wickets to go with it. Oh, Shivam Sharma making room. Once again, they're not giving any pace. Most of the balls are cutters. It's sort of predictable that it's going to be a cutter, yet the batters are not in the position. And a couple of times that they've gone into position, the bowlers have changed the pace to fast Yorkers onto the stumps. Shreyas, he has the work cut out for this ball. He has to go for it. He does try. And that would be an easy run out. Unfortunately made a hash of it. Slightly weak throw out there, a little more forceful one directed at the stumps or the hands of the wicketkeeper without a bounce. Shreyas would have found himself short of the crease. His intention was clear to get the strike across to Shivam, because if ever somebody can make any big impact on the rest of the delivery, it's Shivam. Short pitch ball. And now he was probably ball watching a bit there, and he had lose. That cost him his wicket. More importantly, cost a run. Shreyas Chitneni is run out. A run out on a wide ball. The expectation was that he would just somehow finish the ball and run, but that didn't happen. He was probably spent a second more looking or reflecting over the shot that he could not connect. And he went extra ball there, 112 for 6. At this stage, they're at least 20 to 25 runs short of par. And with Silicon Valley strikers, the formidable batting that they have, this is very... that's an easy one there. Wicket and successive balls for strikers. Yusuf Zazai picking up his 3rd this time. Another Yorker on the offside, spooned up by the batter. into the hands of the cover fielder, Gary Graham. He didn't have to move an inch. So it's been a bit of a procession, honestly, after being quite well placed in terms of wickets in hand. There have been a consistent flow of, or consistent fall of wickets over the last 8 overs or so. Ritish Mohendru. Well done. That was quite a wise call by the youngster. He was surprised looking at Shivam Sharma as he saw him coming back for the second. He had a look of disbelief, almost gesturing to him. You want me to play another ball? It would be rather beneficial if you can take the last one. And there we go, Shivam Sharma. Wonderfully bowled, Yusuf Zazai. What a masterful bowler he's been. Though it's a wide, he is contesting that. The umpire is not going to have any of his. Yep, that's a wide, and that's one more ball to go here. "14 runs from his 4 overs, 3.5 overs so far, Yusuf Zazai. Oh, that's a bit of a fuller length ball. Shivam could at best just dig it out to the deep cover boundary, and that's the end of the innings, and that finishes at 115 for 8. So 20 overs. That's an interesting one. The umpire says probably there's one more ball to go. Well, as per our records, it shows the 4 overs is done, but the umpire has the final call here. $112 for 6. Oh, that's a fuller length, and Zazai gets another wicket. What an outing he has had so far, and he's just had a fantastic game all over as the Thunderbolts innings comes to an end. $115. That's what the innings is folded up for. And let's take a closer look at the batting card here. Yeah, as you see the replay there, it was bang on the stumps. And the batting card, clearly there was a lot of balls taken at the top for the openers to score. Consistently, they gave a good start. Not the best, not the fastest of the starts, but they didn't lose a wicket for a long time. But then once the openers were gone, in fact, once Lahiru was gone, Ian continued with Shashwat for a while. And then the wicket started falling. There was nobody who could potentially give the kind of momentum they looked for. At the end, it was a very modest 115 for 8. And it was because of some incredible bowling by the Silicon Valley strikers. They used 7 bowlers, of which 4 were spinners. Raymond Reifer finished with 23 of his 3. It was Jayasuriya who was brought in as the opening bowling partner for Raymond Reifer, and he did not disappoint. Mind you, they were without Netravalkar today, and so the rest of the gang had to stand up, and they did with some degree of precision. Shehan Jayasuriya, 18 from their 3. Yusuf Zazai, absolute standout, 3.75 runs per over. His Afghanistan partner Kamran Hotak, 4 overs, 18 for 2. Between them, 8 overs, 33 runs, 5 wickets. 8 overs, 33 runs, 5 wickets. That's 4 runs and something apiece. Pranay Suri, 4 overs, 23. Nawaz Khan Katabzai just came in for 1 over. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa, probably the only over that the Thunderbolts felt they got some momentum in it. So, the end of the first half, it's 115 for 8. We will take a short break, and as we come back, we'll get ready for the chase for Silicon Valley Strikers. Stay tuned. Welcome back. And the first ball from Matt Hennig has transpired into a wicket. It almost seemed like the ball was travelling at a rate of knots to the boundary, but it was straight down the throat of the fielder in the gully. And a wicket. What a splendid start from Thunderbolt. That was an hit-me ball that was a half-trekker, sat up nicely, and the batsman went right after it. A wicket goes down. The Thunderbolts would be absolutely delighted with that innings start. The new batsman in is Shehan Jayasuriya. Yuvraj Samra was the first batter to be dismissed in the very first ball. Matt Hennig bowling to Shehan Jayasuriya, who's a very experienced batter. The total they're chasing is 116, and that by any stretch of imagination is not going to give them any heartbreak or any heartburn really, because it's under 6 runs per over, and that's not a challenging one. But the only way that Thunderbolts can nose their way in is by taking wickets, which they've done on the very first ball. Hennig is a very, very crafty operator, very fast bowler. He's bowled very well. He's just had one bad over in this tournament so far. Other than that, he's been right on the money. Amog Arepalli is the other batter who's taking strike here. Shehan Jayasuriya spoke about it. In the minor league history, he's got 1748 runs. He's played 61 games. He's got 950 plus scores. Bats at a decent clip, 130 strike rate. He's a very correct batter, takes not too many risks. He's not a very big six hitter, although he's got 71 sixes, but he's a technically very correct batsman. Works very hard on his skills. Like he showed earlier in the day, he brings in a lot of value to this team. Bowled 3 very economical overs right at the top, putting the pressure, taking the power play out of the equation for the Thunderbolts. And now it's been a fantastic over so far with Matt Hennig. That was slightly wide, and the wicket-keeper doing well, Lahiru Milanta. Variable bounce on display. That ball just slept on the ground after pitching. The wicket-keeper ensured that it did not go far away. It was stopped by him. That's a full toss, and wonderfully placed that Arepalli. Nobody behind the closing field. Easy 4. So an over that was a sparkling over, so that till the 5th ball of that over slightly gets messed up with that boundary. It's the end of the first over. It's 5 for 1. Shivam Sharma starting the proceedings, quite like what strikers did. It's a combination of a fast bowler and a spinner. That's a forceful shot through the covers. Just a single, cleaned up on the boundary line there by Sujit, by Shadley in fact. Shehan Jayasuriya is 4 of 4. He's got to move on. 108 runs needed for strikers to win from here. It will take a special bowling effort for Thunderbolts from one or a couple of bowlers from Thunderbolts to pull this match back. It looks like a walk in the park if the batters can just play with the merit of the ball, pick up singles, occasional boundaries. There's a lot of time and opportunity for them to get this score without much of a fuss. There is a lot of turn on this wicket. Every little ball that has been given a little more tweak by the bowler, the spinners, if they're bowling it a little in the air, giving it a bit of flight, they're getting a lot of purchase from the wicket. Once again, not what the batter expected, taking the outside edge. Did not carry, no harm done, but a deception nevertheless. Shivam Sharma is a very useful player. He brings in a lot of value to this team. And this time, it has been connected over the cow corner for a massive 6. Arepalli, he's not wasting any time. It looks like a very aggressive player. That was outside the off stump. He read the spin very well, although there was a lot of turn after pitching, but he was in a good position. He had understood the spin, and that's a lot of marks to him for understanding the spin and not playing a tentative shot. He went with it. It was in his arc. It went out of the park. This time it was slightly faster by Shivam Sharma. Maybe a little angry ball there. At the end of 2 overs, it's 14 for 1.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Two overs, 14 runs. The wicket has got a kind of scruffy look to it. Matt Hennig to Shehan Jayasuriya has kind of played it towards the square leg. An easy 2 runs there. Runs coming thick and fast now. The energy levels dropping for the Thunderbolts after those few big shots that they saw in the last over. It's a very silent set of band of lads. Well, that's up in the air again by Shehan. The third man fielder picking it up on a bounce. Surya is a very touch player, but he can generate a lot of power as well. Times he doesn't have too much of a big backlift, but it's incredible how much of force he can generate from his shot. He's a stocky little bloke. He's got remarkable skills with the bat. And that's shot. Every ball is yielding a run there. Enthusiasm conveyed by the Silicon Valley Strikers players from their tent. One has to wonder if the schedule is the most optimum one. It's not fair on the Thunderbolts players to undergo an absolutely energy-sapping game in the morning, and now this one has been connected well by Shehan, lifted it over the mid-off region, and that trickles over the boundary line for 4. Another boundary. 22 now after 2.4 overs. The pace we were seeing from Matt in the morning, it's looking slightly more labored right now. And that's what I was referring to. Sometimes the schedule has to be looked at. Is it the most optimum scheduling? You understand that the tournament is coming at a fag end of the season, and hence they will have to get most of the games done before the weather starts getting a little more wet and tricky. But the Thunderbolts effectively have played a game every day now. Yesterday they're going to play 2 today and 1 tomorrow, and these are all make or break games. A good weekend here would see them with a great chance of qualifying for the next stage, and a couple of bad games here could cost them the entire season. And I think their batting looked a little labored today after what happened in the first game, although it's just a 20-over game, but takes a lot out of you, especially when the game is so close, resulting in a super over. There's so much happening mentally. The temperature is heating up. That doesn't help. That was a swing and a miss, very close to the inside edge. No harm done. At the end of the 3 overs, it's 22 for 1. Change of bowling after that 1-over spin by Shivam. He and Dev Chauhan resorting back to his key opening bowler Shadley, once Colquick. That was very close. Mogaripalli had it wrapped around the pads. Very close to the pads there. But it was the height that was in question. It was kicking up after pitching. There is a lot of bounce on this wicket. We've said that multiple times now. That was a fast ball, pitching and kicking up there. Shehan Jayasuriya almost committed himself to the shot, pulled out in the last moment, but full marks to the bowler there. Clearly there's a swing in the air, and after pitching had a little more swing, did a lot. And there was a look of admiration and surprise on the face of Shehan Jayasuriya. That's a victory for the bowler, a moral victory nonetheless. Once again, he's very swift between the wickets, Shehan. Runs very hard for his own runs, runs very hard for his partner's runs, consummate team man. But most importantly, it's very difficult to bowl to him because he's always moving the momentum forward. The singles created out of absolute nowhere. He has a lot of wrist play in his shots. He can play the shot, the same ball into multiple angles. A very, very difficult player to bowl at. And you would be very lucky if you can get Shehan Jayasuriya's wicket very early. Shadley is bowling a wonderful line here. He's beaten the bat a couple of times, yet the wicket stays away. Thunderbolts need wickets here. I don't think they're going to win this game by containing the opposition. I don't think they will be able to ever create a scoreboard pressure in this game. That's not going to happen. They've got to pick up wickets. Bowlers have to manufacture wickets here. Oh, that's a short ball again, lifted. Nobody there in that shot. That's over the boundary again. Another six. Arepalli. He is rocking the scoreboard right now. Played a couple of big shots. He's clearly the aggressor here. He knows he's got an able partner in Shehan Jayasuriya, who's going to keep one end completely rooted, and he can go for the big shots. Once again there, the ball leaving the batter. Beaten, all ends up 4 overs done, 30 for 1. Change in bowling on as Zavira comes in, and the very first ball has been dispatched quite disdainfully by Shehan Jayasuriya. There was no foot movement in that shot. He just sort of stood and delivered. It was a hand-eye coordination shot, but a remarkable shot. Found the gap and punished it. Still power play. There's a lot of real estate behind the close-in field, especially on the offside, and that was a wide outside the off-stump ball, full length, and for a player of Jayasuriya's caliber, it was an easy fodder. 34 for 1. They are motoring along at this point. Zavira. That struck very hard on the shoulders of Jayasuriya. He's immediately signaled for some help. There was some effort in that ball from Zavira, who can be quite rapid, and a bit of a blind-sided shot by Shehan. A slightly agricultural hoik, and the ball after pitching was rather slow coming to the batsman and hit him on that shoulder blade. It can be painful. It could be painful. There's some attention there. The umpire doing the regulation check that they do for concussion, because the ball kind of hit his shoulders and then jumped up to his head. Although it was protected, he is more in discomfort because of the impact on the shoulder rather than the one on the head. But that was a surprising shot. Considering the situation they're in, there's no need to take unwanted risk. Yeah, that's more like it. That's the more sort of orthodox Jayasuriya shot. A more traditional back-footed glance across to the square leg. He's still in a lot of pain. On the other hand, it's Arapalli, 17 from 12. He's been in a bit of a hurry, to say the least. Arapalli. Yeah, another fast-paced ball from Honest Zavira this time. A back-footed square cut between the two close-in fielders and square on the offside. Threaded between the two. There was nobody on the back. Another emphatic shot from Amog Arapalli. He's playing a little gem here. A sort of a demonstration, exhibition of some high-quality ball striking. He is the topmost run getter for the striker so far in the season. 178 runs. So he's bringing some form into this game. And Shehan Jayasuriya is not too far behind, 136. Raymond Reifer is the third man. He's number 2 on that list. Six runs needed of the 15 overs. The last ball of this over coming up. Once again tapped onto the leg side. A quick single there. After 5, it's 41 for 1. Shadley's back with his second over, 7 from his first. Oh, that was a wonderful ball again coming in, swung into the pads of Jayasuriya. He did well to bring his bat down in time, digging it out. That's absolute skill of batsmanship. Wonderfully bowled as well. Shadley is bowling with some bit of pace here. 42 for 1 now. Amog Arapalli. Quite an impressive ball striking ability so far. Some really cracking shots played. He's just played 8 matches, 8 innings of batting so far in the minor league. He's had a good season so far. Majority of those games have come this season. So this is probably his season to shine, rise and shine, and make it counted. And he's doing it with some authority here. He's making his presence felt. He's 22 of 15 here, 2 sixes, 2 fours, all of them lovely shots. Very, very soothing to the eyes. It always helps when you have a senior partner like Jayasuriya on the other side, guiding you. He isn't taking risks on every ball. He's waiting for the bad ball, punishing them hard, and then just carrying along nicely, playing risk-free cricket. That's what is needed right now. Strikers have made the power play count so far. 43 runs already. That's a chunk of their runs already scored in 6 overs. Sadly again outside the off stump. I would say Jayasuriya missed out on that one. That was a slightly short ball, probably beaten by the pace bit, but it had a lot of width for him to go for a shot. It wasn't too high from a bounce standpoint. Didn't time the ball at all. It almost makes me feel something's going to give here. Although they are well ahead on the run rate. That's a slow ball. Bouncing after pitching, and Arepalli was beaten by the pace, just played with a very loose bottom hand. That did not let the ball go too far away from him. Intelligent batting there. He's batting at a strike rate of 141. That's more than sufficient for strikers at this point. And he's giving Jayasuriya all the time to get adjusted and playing at his own pace. Jayasuriya likes the time. He likes to time the ball, place the ball. And that ends the 6th over. The power play is done. 45 for the loss of 1 wicket. Power play done. Change in bowling. Sujit Nayak comes into the attack. He was one of the few bowlers who played an absolutely solid hand in turning the complexion of the game, the morning game that was played earlier in the day. 4 overs for about 18 runs, picking up 3 very valuable wickets. He's a senior pro on this side and plays for Seattle Orcas in the Major League. And the team looks up to him to come and do his thing as a senior pro and make an impact. Immediately, there's a single taken by Arepalli. That is the little problem that the Thunderbolts have right now, because they don't have too much runs to play against, and strikers don't have to take any risks. So it is that stage of the game where they will have to really bowl unplayable deliveries which force the batters to make a mistake, and they can manufacture some wickets. If they're going to bowl good balls and hoping the mistakes to be made by the batter, that ain't happening. Chances of that happening is very less. They were really fortunate in the first ball, which was not a wicket-taking ball, but a catch was given and catch was taken. Since then, these two batsmen have done it very intelligently. Even now, for example, it's so nicely and deftly played by Jayasuriya, just steered between the short third man who's there and the wicket keeper. Ball trickled down and 2 easy runs taken. That's hardly a T20 kind of stroke. That's more like a one-day cricket kind of a shot. But that's Jayasuriya for you. From the Sri Lanka school of cricket, we've seen a lot of touch players come off the ears, score at a very brisk rate without even looking like taking the leather off the ball. Although in that shot, there was a degree of that. But they're rather very timing and touch-oriented players, the likes of Mahela Jayawardene and Kumara Sangakkara and many other players over the years. Oh, that was a forceful shot again. Played into the air. There was nobody there in the mid-off region. A long off-fielder on the boundary. Matt Hennig cleaning it up, just a single. Sujit Naik. He's bowled a rather decent over so far. They haven't gotten after him with a big shot. Now that the field is spread out, they only have more opportunity to run their ones and twos. Oh, that was a chance, one would say. Deception created by the bowler, dragged the batsman out of the crease. Lahiru Milantha did not collect that ball. That was a classic spinner's wicket creation, only to see the wicketkeeper mess it up and a chance goes begging. It could have been a stumping, sure shot stumping opportunity for Seattle Thunderbolts. They would rue that chance. Their chances are going to come only far and few in between. Like I said, they will have to create wickets. In that sense, Sujit Naik actually created an opportunity, and that went a begging. 49 for 1 after 7. That was a very good over by Sujit. Spinners have a lot to do in this wicket. They have a lot of purchase. If they can bring all their skills in, keep their head cool, bowl with a lot of heart, bowl slow and use the purchase from the wicket, they can do a lot of interesting things on this. And we're already seeing that. I mean, Shivam Sharma in the power play was bowling a little fast. That gave a little pace. But the real thing, I think we've seen it in the strikers bowling. You have to lower the pace. You have to give it a little bit flight. Trust the spin on the wicket. There's a lot of purchase there. Batsmen, once they see that there's the kind of turn and the bounce, it creates a lot of doubts in their mind. Wonderful 3 balls there, Shivam Sharma, against an absolutely high quality pro like Shehan Jayasuriya. He's foxed him 3 balls continuously, and that's evident. That's the kind of turn and bounce you have here. And now Shehan Jayasuriya, he rocks on the back foot. That was slightly more fuller, slightly more fast-paced ball. He went with the shot, making it a half volleyed, and that's a 4. So all the good work that was done in the first 3 balls, creating a little bit of pressure, ever so slightly, a little bit of an error there, and Jayasuriya pounces on it. Oh, that's again Once again, a slower ball. Premeditated sweep shot there by Shehan. Clearly went through his shot much before the ball had come to him. Interesting duel here as the spinners take center stage. Oh, once again, lovely ball there, pulling the batter out of the crease, and then that orthodox turn across the batsman. Look at that, there's a tiny bit of flight, a lot of turn, and the batsman trying to sort of force a sweep shot, almost premeditated, missing it. Lovely over, except for that boundary. It was a wonderful over overall. 53 for 1 after 8. Eight overs, 53 for 1. 4. So 63 required from the 12 overs remaining. Once again, Sajid. That's a wonderful fielding done there in the gully. Shashwat Kohli. They will have to field out of their skin. They have to stop everything that they can stop to make a match of this situation. And once again, played in the air. It will be cleaned up in the boundary line. No harm done. The spinners is definitely creating some interest with the turn and the bounce. But they will have to get wickets here, and unfortunately they missed a chance, an opportunity that came their way in the last over. Oh, that's a good shot. Rishabh Mohan doing very well on the boundary line. The long on fence, just restricting it to a single, but it was an emphatic shot by Shehan. Sometimes when you look at the mathematical equation, you wonder if there's a need to play the airy-fairy shots, but then funny things happen because batsmen want to play at a certain momentum. And when that momentum goes away, they tend to feel a little uncomfortable. They start to get themselves back into that. They start doing some unnatural things. There comes an opportunity there, which then creates a wicket against the scheme of things, and suddenly the match is open. Lovely bowling there by Sujit. He is not giving away any free runs at this moment. The batters have to keep their composure. This is exactly the kind of situation that made Arapalli do funny thing last over of Sujit. And this time paid in the air, nobody there. Easy single. And this time they're running for 2. Ritish Mohindru was slightly ball watching there, and that little bit of lack of concentration gave the Wiley strikers an additional run. At the end of 9, it's 57 for 1.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Shivam Sharma to continue, and 2 easy runs there for Jayasuriya. The first wicket fell on the very first ball of the innings. They were yet to open their scores, so it's a 59-run partnership for the second wicket, and that's for a chase of 116 runs. That's quite telling, and this time it's a reverse sweep. Nobody there in that. Well judged and well placed. After a couple of very tight spin overs, it's back to where it was prior to that. A couple of boundaries have come from the batsmen in the last couple of overs, and that's made things a little easy. That was, like I said, sometimes the batsmen need that momentum, despite the fact that the equation shows they don't have to take a risk. But that was a calculated risk by a batsman like Jayasuriya. He played a reverse hit in the air in a place there was no fielder, got a 4. The score is 64 for 1. It's the 10th over now. One would wonder how much is fatigue playing how much of it is due to the fatigue of playing 2 games in a day. That probably is working against the Thunderbolts here. Not to mention, Silicon Valley strikers really bowled very well. They bowled out of their skin. They were so well planned, it almost seemed like they had a manual written for every batter they were bowling at. They didn't let any single batter go and get away with the game. The overall innings strike rate was not even 100. And that's how good they were in the bowling. Every single bowler contributed, especially the spinners. They understood the condition. They brought a team that was best suited for this condition, and those players put their hand up and put on a stellar show. Although I just said the previous game as well, it's not over till it's over. Well, there you go. Another bounce there. Doing something unnatural for the batter. 10 overs done. 65 for 1. As the players take a break for a quick drink. So the players are back after a well-deserved break. It's a very warm Saturday here. It's already 5:45 and the sun is still blazing here. 65 for 1. 51 more to get, 10 overs remaining, and it seems like if they play risk-free cricket, they will get it. But that's what we were feeling in the previous game too, and things suddenly started getting very interesting. Oh, that was another opportunity that goes a begging. Amogarapalli tried another forceful shot there, and a catch goes down. Jayasuriya connecting that again. Like I said, he doesn't play too many balls for the massive big sixes. He's got a very few sixes though, but when he does, they stay hit. That was one of the most emphatic connections, one of the better connections he's made today, and he's looked completely under control from the ball one. That's gone above the cow corner for a huge six. So that makes the equation much simpler now. Sujit Naik has been one of the more in control bowlers for the Thunderbolts, and he goes for a six there. Once again, ball played in the air. How close was that from that close-in fielder? But Jayasuriya is kind of making intentions very clear. He looks to be in a hurry here. That's the end of the 11th over. It's 74 for 1. Matt Henning coming back to the attack. So Seattle Thunderbolts sort of throwing their dice here, trying to get something done. We did see a couple of chances, the half a quarter chances created in the last couple of overs. Chances were not taken in. As I said, there was a stumping miss, there was a catch dropped, there was a very close catch that went probably an inch away from the closing fielder. It's that kind of, if you want to make a match out of this sort of total, wickets are the key. This is a very strong batting lineup of strikers. Matt Henning is bowled very well throughout this competition so far. Probably just had one bad over so far in the entire season. Oh, that's a ball that kicks up from a length. We did see last weekend Matt Henning's bounce hitting him left flush on the helmet. Even this time the umpires would walk up and do some mandatory check. Probably somebody from the striker's tent would come in and also have a look at it. It's never a good scene, batsman getting hit flush on the helmet. On this case, I guess it was not the full-blooded pace, but a bounce that suddenly kicked up from a very good length spot where the batter is not expecting that kind of bounce to come in, and catching on that the grill of the helmet. So no damage done. Last week when this happened, we had to unfortunately see a concussion substitute. Nothing as dramatic as that this time. All good, and that's very good news. Arepalli back on strike. Good over so far. Thunderbolts, when they look back, they would rue their batting. It is becoming a little bit of a problem for them. Their top order playing very well, preserving the wickets, but then just before they could capitalize on that start and give them some momentum, they get out. It almost leaves the team in a bit of a no man's land. But you have consumed some overs and you haven't put a very healthy strike rate on board, and leaves the next set of batters to come in, get set, and also add momentum. It is expected at least one of the two openers to stay for a longer period of time and keep adding momentum. Milanta looks to be a batter who is taking some initiative, he's playing some good shots, but he wasn't able to stay for long in both the games today. And Ian Dev Chauhan, although he stayed in the crease for a longer period of time, this game at no stage did he look like some playing bigger shots to take the momentum forward. Strikers will never give you many opportunities to come back in the game if your momentum is not coming. They are not the kind of side where a wait and watch can work. And they are the kind of side who you can feel comfortable bowling against only if the score is about 130 or 140 plus on this track. 12 overs done, 77 for 1.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
$39 more to win in 8 overs. Thunderbolts have to go, and they would be a tired unit. They've played 3 games on the trot since yesterday, and they have a very important game coming up against the same team tomorrow. They will have to go and find answers. They have to find answers in their batting. Their bowling is not a worry. They have to buckle up on their fielding, and most importantly, they have to get something on their batting. If you look at the scorecard, everybody is getting a start, but nobody is taking them home except for the game yesterday. Wonderfully fielded again. Chance of a run out there, completely hashed up. One would expect a throw to come in without a bounce to the wicketkeeper. There's so much of loose soil around the wicketkeeper there that when Shashwat threw that ball, as it pitched in that dust, it made the wicketkeeper completely blindsided. Shehan Jayasuriya looks in a bit of a worry there, a bit of a bother. He might have done something to his ankle, and again the wicket and the nearby areas out there is slightly uneven. We've seen the bowlers having second thoughts at times, and it appears that when he was finishing that run, trying to desperately make his ground, he may have caught himself in a bit of an uneven ground that might have caused a little bit of discomfort to his ankle. Ankle twist in this space can cause a lot of pain initially, and takes a while for that pain to subside. Good to see him back on strike quickly. Another chance gone, a begging. Thunderbolts fielding. A few drop chances, run out chance gone, a begging there. Stumping chance missed. That's not the kind of cricket they would like to bring when they're defending a score of 115. Oh, Jayasuriya plays that up in the air. There's a chance of a catch, but the fielder got himself underneath that, but the ball was already over the boundary for 6. They are doing it in a canter now. The Thunderbolts have to go, get a good night's sleep, make sure they're well rested, and come back tomorrow. It's going to be a morning game. They have to come back tomorrow and make sure that they forget everything that's happened in this game today and start afresh. And they will have to start thinking about their top order a bit. It is not helping them to have these 6 runs per over or 5.5 runs per over kind of power plays. They will have to go at a 7.5 kind of a power play at least to make some impact, and then continue that momentum. It is totally unacceptable that you finish your 20 overs at 115. Even the previous game, it was remarkable what the bowlers did to win them the game, but 125 runs on this track. Even the last week we saw 2 games, well, low scoring games. They did not, it was their bowlers who got them the win. And in the second game, the bowlers couldn't do much. It was a 12 over game, and Aaron Jones got stuck in, and then the rest was all history. The only comfortable game they've had is yesterday against East Bay Blazers, scoring 150 plus runs, and the opposition was kittled out in 118. It was an emphatic win, and that happened because the top order batter played long, Lahiru Melantha, scoring 80 plus runs, and that's the kind of format they will have to play. Now Melantha can't do it every game. Somebody else have to throw their hands up, and if Ian Dave Chauhan isn't working, can he be dropped down to number 3? Somebody else comes on as opener, plays the power play, gives the momentum, and Ian can come in down the order and hold the innings from one end if the wicket falls. I'm not sure. I'm not the think tank, but there is definitely some thought to be given there. 13 overs done, 87 for 1. For the first time in the game, it's Honest Zavira. Bowled well today in the first game. 2 overs, 8 runs. In fact, he's already bowled an over, beg your pardon. The first over went for 11 runs. He bowled with a lot of pace and bite. It's got a very smooth and easy action. This time score there. That's the confidence that the strikers batters have at this point. The ball was played directly to the fielder who was close in fielding, who was a close in fielder for the offside and square of the wicket. Yet they were able to take a single easily. ...88-run partnership. It's consecutively second match that an opposition pair of batters, the number 2 and number 3, putting up an 80-plus score partnership against the Thunderbolts. The match turned dramatically in the previous game after an 83-run partnership between Sujit Gowda and Sanjay Krishnamurthy. It doesn't look to be like that here. They're going very smoothly, 88 runs added. Jayasuriya scored a lovely 51 here. This is a happy hunting ground for Shaham Jayasuriya. Loves batting here. Always have put up a good score. Seen him play a couple of equally impactful innings here in 2022. Very low scoring games, those ones. Almost seemed like in one of the games I remember it was just about 100 odd some runs, 100, 105 or 6 that Silicon Valley strikers got dismissed for. Jayasuriya scored a very, very important 40 in that. And chasing that score, Thunderbolts could barely manage 70 or something. And the next game, the Thunderbolts batted first and they scored around very much same like today, 120 odd runs, and again Jayasuriya batted brilliantly, about 50 or 60 runs. So he likes to play here. There's something about this ground that he finds very comfortable. He's also gone to play a season for the Seattle Orcas. So he has some connection with the local Pacific Northwest here, Shehan Jayasuriya. And bringing his familiarity of these conditions in the wicket to absolute advantage for his team here today. And because of his composure, it has worked rather well for Mogarepalli. He started very aggressively at Lepalli. He hasn't continued that, but he hasn't lost his wicket. That's important. After 14, it's 91 for 1. Six overs to go, 25 to get. Academic formalities, one would say. And The old adage comes into play. You never say never in cricket. At this stage, miracles and absolute deluge of wickets is needed for Thunderbolts. We saw that happen in the previous game, but then at least they had a few more runs to play with. And the opposition wasn't running away with the game at this pace. At present, the run rate is 6.5. The required rate is about 4.17. So there's a lot of deficit there. Shivam Sharma comes back. He's bowled 3 overs, 21 runs. He would come here to finish his spell. It's again scoop shot. He was intending to go above the leg side, got an edge and pushed it over the offside. Couple of runs. This is a very handy shot to play here. If anyone has got a good sweep, a shot repertoire, they would do exceptionally well in this round, because the turn is so much that playing the orthodox front of the wicket straight shots is always fraught with a huge risk. But if you're able to play the sweep shots and the lap shots, the scoops, you play along with the turn and take the leg before wicket out of the equation, because you're moving around quite a bit. Shehan Jayasuriya has been quite adept at playing that shot. And he scored a lot of runs for using that shot here. On that occasion it was a classic square drive that gives him 2 runs. It has been a fascinating day's cricket, to say the least. And finally there's a wicket. Shivam Sharma was able to castle Shehan Jayasuriya, who was, I guess after that little incident where his ankle took a bit of beating, he was going for big shots. In this scenario, of course, he didn't get anywhere near that ball. It was slightly slower off the pitch and completely deceived, losing his leg stump. A wicket that comes rather late in the day. There's still 21 to win. But a wicket nonetheless. A 95 runs partnership finally breaking. Shehan Jayasuriya clean bowled Shivam Sharma. For a well-made half century here. And the best part of that innings was there was not much of belligerence. There was a lot of flair, there was a lot of touch play, there was a lot of placement, there was some innovation indeed. He did try some square of the wicket shots where he manufactured some runs, but he generally had some fun. But at no point, except for that couple of sixes that he hit, or 1 6 that he hit, it seemed like he was trying to muscle his way through it. There was a lot of touch and timing. Shivam Sharma fresh after the wicket, couple of balls remaining in his spell. The new man is Dilpreet Bajwa. And for 11 overs, 11 runs in his solitary over today, but he has a reputation as a batter as well. It's again, that's the kind of a game they have been having, just trickles down. Anything that hits the bat and trickles around the wicket produces a single. .96 for 2, last ball, the 15th over. played, the back foot. Arapalli was pushing that across to the cover point boundary for a quick single. End of the 15th over, 97 for 2. So 97 for 2. We're saying fascinating day's cricket today. We had a humdinger of a encounter prior to this one. Morning game. East Bay Blazers versus the Thunderbolts. Very low scoring game. It seemed like for 80% of the game it seemed like it was going rather easily for the Blazers. They were chasing 126. They were 101 for just one. Folded up for 125 in their 20 overs, resulting in a tie and a super over. And then the Blazers batted first in super over, scoring just 8. And the Thunderbolts came back and mopping it up in just 3 balls in the super over, and eking out those 2 valuable points out of that game, which was all but lost for them for the maximum part of it. Since then, it has been a bit of a tough going for them against the Strikers in the second game of the day. They could only manage 115 runs batting first against a very, very disciplined and professional attack of the Strikers. Every single bowler looked very clear of what they are expected to do. Their roles were clear. They brought in different skills and they executed to perfection, not giving any momentum to this Thunderbolts outfit. And then while chasing it, they've done it with equal amount of composure and professionalism. This time played up in the air again. Arapalli, the long off fielder, just ambles across and picks it up. Couple of runs easily taken. 100 up for the Strikers. They have just 16 more to win. And there's a lot of time left. The asking rate is below 4 at this point. 4.4 overs remaining for 16 runs. They aren't taking any risk whatsoever. It will be an interesting reading after this game if Strikers pull this off. There'll be 3 teams on the top with 10 points. With the Strikers having played only 7 games. They have 3 more games to go after this, so a lot of opportunity, and Thunderbolts would have just 1 more game tomorrow. It's a very important game coming up tomorrow for both the teams. Shatley bowling very pacey little balls out there. Dilpreet Bajwa has just walked in. Hasn't had the measure of the wicket or the pace of it or the kind of pace at which the ball is coming. Couple of play and misses there. This time it was a slow wide ball from Shadley. A mild inquiry from Dilpreet Bajwa towards the umpire whether it was a wide. Not given. The end of the over. The end of 16. It's 101 for 2. Matt Hennig back in the attack, 16 for 1 after 3. From his 3 overs, he's bowling his final one. 4 overs, 15 to get. Imagine an over that gets him 2 or 3 wickets. That would just add a whole lot of excitement to the contest. Miracles do happen. Unexpected things do happen. That's the name of cricket. We saw that in the first game. True that they're up against a very professional outfit here, but that pitched in short. Arepalli was fully in control. Has played a lovely pull shot behind the wicket. No chance for the fine leg fielder to go and cut it off. Another boundary. Doesn't seem like any miracles in store out here. They're doing it rather nicely. Matt Hennig has picked up 16 wickets. All of them have come for Seattle Thunderbolts. He's played 9 matches, 16 wickets. A lovely Yorker on the leg stump. Arepalli playing it just on the pads, given as a leg by. The mood on the ground, especially amongst the Seattle Thunderbolts fielders, is pretty much reflective of the time of the day. It's the dusk. Everything's kind of setting. Sun is setting down, and they are looking rather forlorn out here as Dilpreet Bajwa this time plays a leg stump, short pitch ball, and guides it rather than any forceful pull shot. It's just a swivel into the vacant deep fine leg area for another 4. Easy shot, runs coming thick and fast, the job being done rather easily. 6 more runs to go here. To be fair to them, it's been a long, hard days of cricket. In effect, they've played 40 overs game here, the Thunderbolts, after playing a 20 over game yesterday. They would have a lot of sore limbs and legs out there, not to mention the fatigue of the mind. But they will have to overcome all of that overnight to come back again tomorrow and fight for their last league game here to ensure that they get some points and then hope they can make it through. There's a lot of commotion at the top of the West Division. Multiple teams now going to be on the 10-point mark. Bay Blazers very well placed with their net run rate if everything finishes on 10. They would have gone disappointed from the Seattle area. They lost both their games. They would have wanted to score at least another win to get their points tally to 12. That didn't happen. So they went back with just 10. In the process, they saw another team creep up to 10. Oh, that's up in the air. And that should be a chance. And a catch taken. Shreyas Chitneni picking up the catch. The batsman was still Preet Bajwa. It was a slow ball, completely foxed the batter. Went ahead with the shot, completely clueless where it was pitching in, at what pace it was coming in. It went way up in the air. Shreyas Chitneni, the young player, judging it well and taking a well-judged catch. With 4 runs to win, another wicket falls here. There's a lot of batting to come as Ryan Rifer makes it. The captain, Ryan Rifer, had a good outing with the ball. He's a very, very enterprising batter as well. He's the second on the batting leaderboard for Silicon Valley Strikers this season. So behind Arepalli. So two of their top run getters at the wicket now. And the deficit at this point is just 4. And wonderfully played that shot. That's the outfield out there. The ball just dropping like a golf ball and not going too far. So the two batsmen taking an easy 3. That brings the score at par with Thunderbolts, 115 for 3 now. And they've done it with few overs to spare, so that's going to do a world of good to their net run rate as well. Just 1 to win. Raymond Rifer is on as Zavira comes in. Well, that's it. Taps it on his leg. And guess what? The drama is not over. Against the run of play, Amog Arepalli's run out now. Once again, one has to wonder if that single was needed. It was dropped at absolute heel. Arepalli never expected Raymond to call him for a single. He was on his heels, on his Zavira, showing some of the English Premier League skills out there. Just a good solid kick on the ball and scoring the goal, if I may say. Caught Arepalli napping and at the end short of the crease. So with 1 run to go, they have dismissed. They've picked up another wicket. 115 for 4. That kind of a day. The drama never ends. It just keeps prolonging. Kamran Hota comes in to bat. He had a stellar outing today with the ball. This Silicon Valley Strikers team is a very, very professional outfit, and they've shown it right from the ball 1. They didn't let the Thunderbolts get away with their 20 overs. Dismissed, restricted them to about 115 runs, a modest 115 runs. Honest Zavira now calling for a slip. Kamran calls for a single. There's another chance of a run out, and that's it. The job done and dusted. Silicon Valley Strikers completing their chase of 116. A lot to think about at the end of the day. And I think if one has to look back for Thunderbolts batting, they probably left about 20 runs on the table. A score of about 130, 135 would have made this chase a little more interesting. Not that at this stage they still have 2.3 overs. Even a 20-run deficit would have made things a little more easier. I don't think that would have been a big difference, but you never know. A score of 130, 135 would have made things very, very interesting. So that's the story from here. The Silicon Valley Strikers have won the game. They've chased this total down rather with ease, and if you look at it, they lost the wicket on the very first ball, and suddenly there was a lot of expectation that maybe we are looking at a contest here. Maybe the Thunderbolts might actually pull off a surprise victory against a very, very professional and prolific outfit. But those two, Amog Arepalli and Shehan Jayasuriya, they did it with a lot of ease and a lot of comfort. 49 of 46 for Amog Arepalli, and Shehan Jayasuriya 58 of 49. There were a few wickets, but none of them would have been any sort of, none of them would have created any sort of flutters of worry for the Silicon Valley Strikers. In the end, they did it rather easily. For the Thunderbolts, I think they had a lot to think about their fielding. There were some chances created. Their bowlers had to be more enterprising to create a lot of opportunities, which they did, to be fair to them. Matt Hennig, a decent 26 for 2 for 26 of his 4 overs. Shivam Sharma 1 for 27 of his 4. Shadley 15 of his 3, bowled very well. Rather pace, didn't pick up wickets. Every time that Shadley doesn't pick a wicket, this stack looks a little toothless. On Zavira was at 19 from his 2.3 overs. Sujit Naik 27 of his 4. So a decision there to bring an extra batter instead of a spinner. One might go back and ask, because this was a very spin friendly wicket, considering how the performance of Silicon Valley Strikers, but somehow Thunderbolts went with a lot of pace bowlers, and at the end it was not an outcome they would have wanted. It's a game they lost rather tamely. So that's the summary of the game. Thunderbolts managing just 115 for 9 at a rate of 5.75, and the Silicon Valley Strikers scoring it with 17.3 overs, the loss of just 4 wickets. For the Strikers, Yusuf Zazai and Kamran Hotak, the two Afghanistan players, bowling 8 overs amongst them, giving away 33 runs and picking up 6 wickets. That has to be the highlight of this game. They just changed the entire complexion of this game. And not to mention Pranay Suri, he did pitch in with 1 for 23 of his 4. But the highlight were those two bowlers, the pacer and Yusuf Zazai, and Kamran Hotak, the spinner. So that's the story. Silicon Valley Strikers win this contest by 6 wickets. We'll take a look at the points table. I'm not sure it's got updated that quickly. It did. And if you look at it now, the top 3 teams there at 10 points. The Thunderbolts still a little ahead of the Strikers. But the Thunderbolts have played 9 games and they will be done with their 10 games tomorrow. That leaves the Blazers with 2 more games. And the Silicon Valley Strikers would have 2 more games to go. So they have ample games to go back and They have a job cut out, Seattle Thunderbolts. They would like to go and win their last game so that they can finish their edition, at least the league stage, with 12 points, and then hope that the other teams also sort of end up in 12, and they can probably proceed to the next stage on the basis of the net run rate. For the strikers, in the kind of form they displayed and demonstrated today, it looks like they have it covered. And unless the Thunderbolts come back with a little bit of renewed strategy, especially their batting, it looks like strikers are feeling very comfortable at the end of the day. So here we are after a rather busy day of cricket, 2 games back to back, and a lot of adrenaline that was spent in the first game with a tied match and super over and all. We've had a couple of very fascinating contests of cricket, some very high skilled demonstrations here from some of the players, and I'm sure all of you watching would have had a great day's viewing of cricket. Tomorrow's game starts at 10:30 local time. Seattle Thunderbolts versus Silicon Valley Strikers. We will be here to bring that all the action through commentary. I hope you join us. Till then, have a lovely evening ahead, and see you tomorrow. Thank you.